Artists, today we learned about the architect and designer Frank Lloyd Wright from Wisconsin. And we looked a lot at his stained glass art. Today we are going to be making a stained glass painting. So at the drive-thru you're going to grab a big piece of white paper that's folded in half for you, like a hot dog. If you look really carefully, you can see that crease there. We're going to talk about that crease and what that means in a minute. You're also going to need to get a ruler. If you're a number 3 chair, that means you're in charge of supplies today. You're going to grab a blue tray, a cup of black paint, and enough brushes by the sink for your table partners to use. At my seat, I'm going to start by writing my name and class code, Mrs. C, and my class code, and then open it up. Now I'm going to create a piece of artwork, and this artwork is going to use the element of art shape, specifically circles. Big circles, little circles, medium-sized circles, and line. To create my lines today, I'm going to be using the straight edge of my ruler. I'm going to be thinking about horizontal lines, lines that go side to side, vertical lines that go straight up and down, or diagonal lines that go up and across. However, my art is only going to happen on one side of my paper. This is going to feel a little bit funny, artists, but I'm only going to draw and paint on this one side of my paper. Nothing's going to happen over here yet. So I'm going to start tracing some circles. Now I have this really big circle that I want kind of in the middle, but I'm only going to draw on one side. So I'll put that circle in the middle, but I'm only drawing on one side. Do you see how I started and stopped at that crease? Don't draw over here yet. I could use small circles. If I don't have a circle that's the right size that I need, I could even draw my own circle. Maybe I want a really small one. I know how to draw circles. I can draw my own. I could also use my ruler to draw vertical lines. That means I'm going to hold my ruler and draw with the other hand to make a vertical line, or horizontal lines, or maybe even diagonal lines. When I have drawn circles and lines with my pencil, I'm ready to paint. I am going to start by dipping my brush in the cup of paint. Do you see how I just dip the toe of the brush in the paint? I don't have any paint in the danger zone or on the handle, just on that tippy toe. And I'm going to paint with my tippy toe, so my brush needs to be straight up and down. My goal is to make a nice, even black line. Once I have painted a line, I'll put my brush down. I'm going to fold my paper in half on that crease, and I'm going to give it a back rub. This is where your art is going to start to appear. There it is. What happened on one side is happening on the other. This is called symmetry. I'm going to do the lines. Do you see how my lines started to get scratchy here? If your lines get scratchy, that means that your brush needs a little bit more paint. We want our lines to be thick and juicy, not thin and thirsty. So if your brush needs a drink, dip the toe in the paint. All right, I folded it in half right away so that that wet paint will print on the other side. What happened on one side happened on the other. I'm going to use my ballerina brush and paint some thick and juicy lines and shapes. I have painted my lines and my circles that I drew with pencil, and I folded my paper in half so that they started to appear on the other side. However, some of these lines kind of look thin and thirsty. So if that happens to you, just take a brush after you're all done painting and folding, and you can trace over those lines. I should not keep folding my paper in half. Once I have painting on the other side of my paper, I'm just going to leave it open. Do you notice, artists, how I left holes in my circles and I left some white space today? My whole paper isn't painted black. That's because next time when we come, we are going to be adding some color, baby color, to these stained glass windows. So don't paint everything in. When my paper's done, I'm going to carry it flat like a lunch tray to the drying rack. I'm going to wash out my brush with soap and water, and get out my sketchbook.